The Badger Divide is a 210-mile bikepacking route that runs from Inverness to Glasgow, passing through some of Scotland's finest scenery. It follows parts of some existing trails, such as the Great Glen Way and the West Highland Way. I decided to walk this route in late April and early May 2025, adapting it to follow some of the Rob Roy Way as well. It's primarily off-road, with gravel roads, rocky sections, forestry tracks and some asphalt. Well, good morning. It's Friday the 9th of May and it's an absolutely beautiful morning. Sun shining, blue skies. Still a very slight nip in the air, but it's going to be warm later on. I had a very nice rest day in Killin. Stayed in the Killin hotel, which was nice. And Killin was a very pleasant little place to wander around. Probably more than a day would exhaust its capabilities, but I had a restful day and cleaned up, and I managed to send quite a bit of stuff home that I'm not using anymore. Maps and midge nets and things like that. Started off about 8:45. My OS maps say 14.5 miles today. The signs say 11. Heading down to Strathire. I was umming and erring about camping in Inverness, but then there was a pretty good deal at the White Stag Inn where I'm eating tonight. So I've decided to make it easy for myself, and for the next 3 nights just stay in accommodation. Managed to wash all my stuff at Killin, so that was good. But a major disaster. Just got out my selfie stick and it broke, so I've had to chuck it away. So it'll be handheld stuff for the next 3.5 days. Just walking up an old railway line in the Killin forest. Very pleasant. Been walking for about an hour now through the Ardach forest. Very pleasant. Easy paths. We're now on a cycle track, so not that far away from humanity. I think there's a road just over on the right. Still beautiful scenery. And a lovely day. A memorial here. Flight Lieutenant Patrick Harrison and Peter Mosley died on these hills when their tornado crashed 1st of September 1994. Just stopped for 5 minutes at a little picnic spot, and walking down this old path of a railway line for about 3 miles. Easy walking today. I'm interested to see what the Rob Roy Way is like. It's been pleasant so far. Well signed with blue signs and chevrons and things like that. So looking back the way we've come, it's the viaduct. This is Glen Ogle, where apparently there's shooting from the 12th of August to the 12th of February. And the scenery around us. looking down into Loch Erne Head and Loch Erne, which looks gorgeous today. Over this bridge that takes us over a valley with a little river, probably running down to Loch Erne. Well, it's 11:54. Been walking for 3 hours now. Done probably about 8.5 miles. So doing very well. I've just stopped by these little things that allow you to perch, and I'm going to have some lunch. And what I'm going to have, a Co-op Simply cheese and pickle sandwich, like that. I'm going to have some Walker's squares, and I'm going to have a banana that I got from breakfast. It's been pretty quiet today. I've seen about 8 other walkers and about 6 cyclists today. Haven't seen any cyclists going my direction. You can just about hear the road in the distance. I think it's the A9, I'm not sure, but it's not obtrusive. And it's really rather a pleasant walk. The countryside is softer, more trees, more vegetation, and it is lovely to see all the trees out, all the leaves coming out. We're in the Loch Lomond and Trossachs National Park camping management zone, where you need a permit. Permits are dead easy to get. I got a couple when I was doing the West Island Way 2 years ago, and they do come around and check, so it's worth getting them. This is the Strathire to King's House path. Rob Roy McGregor, Balquhidder's famous outlaw, obviously was born near here. He was a general thorn in the flesh to the government. He was eventually pardoned by King George I and died peacefully at Balquhidder, which we've just passed, and his grave is in the local kirkyard. And his name comes from red-haired Robert. Interesting. Well, I've just seen why the sign back there was a bit misleading, because I should have broken off to the left, or the right, no, the left, and gone back on myself following the Rob Roy Way and through the Strathire Forest, whereas I didn't really bother to look at the map, just went in the direction that the sign's pointing. And this is the number 7 cycle path, which is pleasant enough actually. So it does cut off a couple of miles, and I'm quite happy to do that, particularly as I've got a long day tomorrow. So probably have only got about 2 miles to Strathire, but it's a nice enough walk. I'll show you a little bit of the path. Got the road on the left, and although this is a bit hard on the feet, it's nice and easy, and I think it cuts out the it's quite a stiff climb on the Rob Roy Way. That's all right. I'm happy to chop and change, particularly if it makes my life a bit easier. So just coming to Strathire, it's 1:25, so it's taken me 4.5 hours, just over 4.5 hours, to about 13 miles, which is pretty good going, but then again it's been pretty easy walking. Very pleasant without being spectacular. So I'm staying at the Stag's Head Inn tonight, I think, but I can't book in till 4. There's the village hall. So I'm going to go and see if I can find somewhere to have a coffee. I spent the night at the White Stag Inn in Strathire, which was comfortable accommodation and also served good food. Well, good morning. It's Saturday the 10th of May. Ooh, wobbly wobbly. And I stayed at the White Stag Inn last night, which was very pleasant. Just left, just crossing a little bridge. Got about 18 miles to do today, so not too bad. Strathire is a pleasant little place, but not much there. A couple of hotels. Oh, very bouncy bridge. And a little village shop. That's the bridge we've just come over. Again, it's an absolutely beautiful day today. Blue skies, sun's out. And walking along a nice sun-dappled path. Still slightly chilly in the mornings, but I suppose that's what you expect for early May. So looking southeast, that's Loch Lubnaig, and the bluebells in the foreground. And we're following this path. I think we walk a fair old way, probably down all of Loch Lubnaig. It's westerly coast. Westerly side. Fairly gentle downhill for the first 10-12 miles today. A little bit of uphill, but I don't think there's anything dramatic. And we're a little further down, close to the loch. You see the bluebells out. There's a road on the other side of the loch, but it's not too obtrusive. Just past one cyclist so far. Quite surprised how few people there are on the Rob Roy Way. Nice easy walk so far. We're about 1.5 kilometres from the Falls of Leanie and about 3 kilometres from Kilmahog. Just finished walking along the side of the loch, and there was a sort of complex of log cabins around and a little cafe, so stopped and had a coffee. Countryside is quite a lot softer here than it was up north. Still nice scenery. So we've been sharing the path with the Great Trossachs Path and just turned off now down to the road and just on the Rob Roy Way. It's a little bridge. On the other side, rather pleasant. Rather a nice house there. And I think in the distance, just between the two trees, is Loch Venachar. And the cycling route heads off sort of northwest or right. That's 12 miles to Aberfoyle, and the Rob Roy Way is less than that. Heads off to the left and goes through the forest, I think. So this is Loch Benachar. A few people around. We've left Loch Benachar behind. It was actually quite busy. There are permit camping places on the shore, and it being a decent Saturday, there were lots of people around. But when we branched off and started our only significant uphill of today, we very quickly left people behind. About 6.5 miles to Aberfoyle, and it's only 20 to 1. So, made very good time. Done about 11 miles so far. Nearly at the top of the climb. Probably got about another 10 minutes to go. And some stunning views of Loch Benachar. And looking back down the way we've come. I just took a little detour south of the little Lochen, and the path petered out for a bit, so I had to fight my way through the undergrowth for 15 minutes, but I've got back on the path. So that's a brief moment of excitement, walking through shady woods, which is quite pleasant. It's a little bit of a breeze. After coming out of the forest, the path is less distinct, but still quite clear. Sorry about the wind noise. And very pleasant views. Looking all around. And the path goes straight ahead of us. A little bit difficult to make out where it's going, but it's obvious enough when you're walking it. Not far to Aberfoyle. Just met a chap walking the other way who'd started in Kirk Yethome and is walking all the way up to Cape Wrath via West Highland Way and Fort Augustus and places like that. About over 500 miles, he reckons, and it's going to take him all of May. And I mean, he's got good weather, but it's an awfully long way to walk. So I hope he enjoys his walk. And looking forward to getting to Aberfoyle and resting my feet, which aren't too bad actually. And then tomorrow to Drimmen, and then on Monday to Milngavie, and then from there train to Glasgow, bus to Glasgow airport, hotel at the airport, and flying home on Tuesday. Looking down over a golf course and the road that takes us into Aberfoyle. Well, it's 9:30 and we're leaving Aberfoyle behind for the walk down to Drimmen, which is about 11 miles. So it should be a nice, easy walk. I stayed in Mayfield bed and breakfast last night, which was fine. comfortable and relatively cheap, and ate at the Fairy Tree Inn just opposite, which was very busy. It was a Saturday night, and I didn't sleep particularly well, probably because I had a bit too much to eat and drink, but there we are. The scenery down here is much softer, quite different from how it was up north, greener. Hills are slightly less steep, but it's still very beautiful and a nice walk. Let's have a little look at Kirkton Church. Risk of falling masonry. Clearly no roof, and used as a cemetery. We're walking through the Loch Ard forest. As you can see, forest on the right hand side, track in the middle, and lots of logging going on the left hand side. Lovely and quiet. Just hear the birds singing. And the tramp of my feet. Looking down, following the tracks down to a crossroads and then back up to the Gardhardan forest, I think. Again, apologies for pronunciation. Nice little cairn there. Just looking down at the Corrie Aqueduct. These stone structures have been quite regularly placed since I started today, and I just happened to be talking to a chap who said that they're the inspection areas for the aqueduct, and the aqueduct supplies about 60% of Glasgow's water. So now I know what they are. I think the other 40% comes from two loch reservoirs just above Milngavie. So this is the Muir Park Reservoir. Pretty much at the top of the last uphill section. So a couple of miles from Drummond, looking over the Gardhardan forest, which we're just going alongside, following this little road that will take us down into Drummond. And a rare car that you can see in the distance there. And there's Drummond, about a mile and a bit away. It's gone quite overcast, but that does actually make it great walking weather. Downhill all the way, crossing the West Highland Way in a minute, and then into Drummond, and I'm staying in the Drummond Inn and eating there as well. There's the crossroads with the West Highland Way. So up there on the right leads to Drummond, and then up there through the forest. And we're going down here. And in the distance, Loch Lomond. I wasn't aware that you could actually see it from here, but I suppose it's not that far away. West Highland Way follows along a few miles and up Killin and then down to Loch Lomond. So just coming into Drimmen. You can probably hear the rooks, I suppose, in the tree, making a hell of a noise. It's 10 to 2, so it's been an easy journey. So this bus stop is the start of the Rob Roy Way. It's not my end though. I'm taking my end to be the start of the West Highland Way in Milngavie, which is about 12 miles from here, so I'll do that tomorrow. So this is the Green Drimmen, and right ahead's the bus shelter, and beyond that is the Drimmen Inn where I'm staying tonight. Well, good morning. Day 12, very last day. I stayed in the Drimmen Inn last night, which was very pleasant. Had quite an early night, slept quite well. Drimmen is heaving with walkers. I think about 99% of them are doing the West Highland Way. I've just passed about 10 walkers heading in the direction of Hill. It's a nice day today. Again, decent forecast, slightly overcast, and a little bit of a slightly chilly wind. I've got my top on. Probably got just over 11 miles to do today to get to Milngavie, and then the train to Glasgow. I've done this, I did the West Highland Way 2 years ago, so I'm walking this in reverse today. It'd be quite nice to see some of the spots I remember from 2 years ago. So this is the Drimmen campsite, Easterdole Quasi Farm, whatever it is. I stayed here a couple of years ago and it was a nice place to stay, but worth booking up in advance. Pitches are through the gazebo and decent showers as well. Well, I passed 25 to 30 West Highland Way walkers, but from here on, for the next couple of hours, I think it should be much quieter because people will be leaving Milngavie now. It'll take them a couple of hours to make headway, and I think almost everyone who walked here from Milngavie yesterday will have stayed in either the Drimmen campsite or in Drimmen or around Drimmen. I'd forgotten that on the West Highland Way, particularly the early bits, there's a tradition of honesty boxes for ice creams and drinks and chocolate bars and stuff like that, which is rather nice. Just going across the weir here, Gartness Bridge. Very pleasant, easy walking so far. And about 5.5 miles. It's 10:30. Starting to meet people who've got up early and left Milngavie. Almost all of them are making the same mistake that I made 2 years ago, which is carrying too much. Just chatted to a bloke walking the West Highland Way for the second time. He's wild camping. He's got 18 kilos on his back. Ooh. Certainly, if you're doing the West Highland Way, there are plenty of places to stock up. and I'm sure you can do it lighter than that, even if you're taking food with you. It's a lovely spring morning. Sun's out, sky's blue, trees are in blossom and leaf, and easy flat walking. And a very enjoyable way to finish the walk. So that's the pt3 Inn. I'm going to stop and have a coffee. So Glengoyne Distillery, just in the distance. So I almost finished the only bit of ascent for today. Really quite warm today. Pleasant scenery. I must have seen about 150 people walking the West Highland Way today. I think these are on every person's video diary of the West Highland Way. This is Craigullion Lock. And we're walking through Mugdock Wood at the moment. Bluebells are out. It's very peaceful. 2 miles to go. Still seeing people setting off on the West Highland Way, not quite so many now. I think I've passed most of them. Well, that's about 205 miles from start in Inverness to the finish here. What a good walk, and what cracking weather. So I'm currently in the Holiday Inn Express in Glasgow Airport. Having finished today, I just thought I'd leave you with some thoughts on walking the Badger Divide. And the first thought is great walk, really good walk. The first 3 days on the Great Glen Way are a good introduction to the walk. Through various sort of health problems, I wasn't very fit before we started, and that helped get my fitness back. There was some decent scenery, nice to see Loch Ness. For me, the highlights were the Corryarrick Pass. It was pretty tough. It took quite a long time to get to the top, but once we were at the top, some fantastic views, and you really got the idea that you were the only person around for miles. It was great staying in the Milngavie bothy. It's the first time I've actually stayed overnight in a bothy, and getting the fire going was really good. And then the next couple of days were really great. Again, some fantastic views, real sense of isolation without really being too isolated. I particularly enjoyed looking down on Loch Rannoch and Rannoch Forest. That was really great. The wild camping was fantastic, really nice and quiet. There weren't as many places to pitch as I thought there might be, but I always found somewhere. Water was never really a problem. There was a stretch for about 5 miles where I struggled to get any water, but as long as you were prepared to be fairly nimble and wind your way down to a stream, you could get water. There were always people around. I saw at least a couple of people every day, so that was nice, because you didn't feel that you were the only person around, but you did have a sense of isolation. My pack was quite heavy because I had to take 5-6 days of food, and I suppose on reflection I could have posted my food to Fort Augustus, picked it up then, but I didn't want to do that, and it got me a bit fitter carrying a heavy duty pack. I was also pleased to start posting some stuff home from Killin and also from Strathire, which made my pack quite a lot lighter. I would suggest pretty strongly to build in a rest day. By the time I got to Killin, I was really quite tired. I'd done 3 20 plus mile days, and every other day was around 15 miles with some fairly decent ascents and descents. So I really enjoyed my rest day at Killin. It was a lovely place to stay and have a good look round, and I just rested and felt quite rejuvenated for the last section. The last section on the Rod Rye Way is very pleasant, not as spectacular as the section up north, but nice walking. And the section that I've just done today, the first day of the West Highland Way, again is very, very pleasant. It did make me very pleased that I wasn't doing the West Highland Way, having seen so many people heading out to do it. It is worth doing the West Highland Way, but it's very busy, particularly in the first few days. And I was very pleased to have done a trail that was much quieter.